Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And welcome, brothers and sisters, to today's episode of Once Upon a Time. And we have with us today, we have Jannah. Hi, Jannah.
Hi.
Hi, Yusuf.
Hi.
And hi, Salma.
Hi.
Are you ready for a new story today? Yeah, excellent. So, today we're going to talk about a story about the birth of Moses, Musa. And it's a magnificent story. And what surah was it mentioned in?
Surah Al-Qasas.
Very good. Yes, very good. May Allah bless you. Very good. So let's listen to the story. Bismillah. The Pharaoh who ruled Egypt was a tyrant. He was a really bad man who oppressed and all the descendants of Yaqub alayhi salam, who were known as the children of Israel, Beni Israel. He used every means to humiliate and disgrace them. They were forced to work for very small wages or maybe even no money at all. And under this system, the people obeyed and worshipped the Pharaoh. He was like a god to them. And all the ruling class, the people in power, they carried out his orders, thereby allowing his cruelty and his crazy ideas. They let him have all these crazy ideas. Nobody stopped him. And one day, Pharaoh saw in his vision a fire that came from Jerusalem and burned all the houses of the Egyptians, but did not harm the children of Beni Israel. When he woke up, he was horrified. He then gathered his priests and the magicians all together and asked them about this vision. And they said, "This means a boy will be born of them, of Beni Israel, and the Egyptian people will perish at his hands." And Pharaoh, upon hearing this, commanded all the male children, all the boys of the children of Israel to be killed. And the killing of these children was carried out until the economic expert, the man who was in charge of all the finances and the money, he said to Pharaoh, the aged of the children of Israel die, and the young are slaughtered. This will lead to their annihilation. They will wipe them out. There will be no more children. As a result, Pharaoh will lose the manpower of those who work for him. So if he kills them all when they're young, there won't be any for them to grow up and work for the Pharaoh. As a result, Pharaoh will lose his manpower. So for those who he enslaves and their women who he exploits, everything will be lost. It will be better to regulate this procedure of killing by initiating a policy that males should be slaughtered in 1 year but spared to live the next year. So they would only kill the males every second year. And Pharaoh found that solution to be a safer and economically better solution, and he agreed to it. Do you think it was a good solution?
No.
Any solution is not good when it comes to killing. So Moses' mother, she was pregnant with Aaron, alayhi salam, in a year that boys were spared. They weren't killing them. Thus, she gave birth to him publicly and safely. It was okay. She was allowed. And during the year in which the boys were killed, she gave birth to
Musa.
Yes, to Musa. Excellent. And thus, his birth caused a lot of problems, and she was terrified. She was afraid that he would be killed, so she nursed him secretly. She kept him away, didn't tell anybody. And Allah revealed to her, "Nurse him, but when you fear for him, put him into the river and do not fear or grieve. We will certainly return him to you and make him one of the messengers." So what happens? Did she put him into the river?
Yes, I know that story.
She did, yes. So no sooner had the divine revelation finished that she obeyed the sacred and merciful call from Allah. She made a basket for Moses, and she nursed him and put him into the basket, then went to the shore of the Nile and threw it into the water. The mother's heart was so merciful, and in this world, that's, a mother's mercy. She has so much mercy for her children. And she cried when she threw the basket into the river. However, she was aware that Allah was more merciful to Moses than herself, and that he will protect her, that Allah will protect Moses. So she instructed her daughter to follow the course of the basket, and to report back to her. And as the daughter followed the floating basket along the riverbank, she found herself right in the palace grounds and saw what was unfolding before her eyes. What do you think she saw?
She saw the basket and Musa.
She saw the basket, exactly, yes. So the basket came to rest at the riverbank, which lined the king's palace. The palace servants actually found the basket and didn't dare to open it. They took it to the wife of the Pharaoh, Asiya. When she opened the basket, she saw a wonderful, beautiful baby boy with a shining face. She loved him very much as soon as she saw him. And then Pharaoh came and ordered the slaughtering of the baby. He wanted to kill the baby. And his wife begged him to keep him. "This baby is a source of joy for me and you," she said to Pharaoh. "Do not kill him. Perhaps he may be useful to us and we may adopt him as a son." Yes, Yusuf.
Is Pharaoh the son of Fir'aun al-Akbar?
Yes, well, his father was also a pharaoh. Yes, exactly. Yes. So, as a source of joy for you, but not for me, is what Pharaoh said. And he allowed her to keep the baby, and then they adopted him. The Pharaoh and his wife did not have kids, and Asiya was very happy to finally have a baby. She summoned a few wet nurses who were going to feed and suckle the baby. But he couldn't take any of their milk. He didn't want their milk. And she was frustrated, and she sent for more wet nurses to come. And Moses' sister, she was also worried, as her baby brother was without milk. He wasn't drinking for a very long time, so he was hungry. And the servants one day were in the market looking for a wet nurse when Moses' sister saw them. She blurted out, she said that she knew of a mother who would feed the child. They ordered her to rush and fetch the woman that she was talking about. And who was she talking about? Who was the mother?
I think it was Musa's mother.
Yes, good Salma, yes it was. So her mother was waiting with a heavy heart, worried about the fate of Moses. And just then the daughter rushed in with the servants to her mother. As the child was put in his mother's arms, he immediately started to drink the milk. And from that day onward, she was appointed as Moses' wet nurse. Moses was back with in his mother's house by the will of Allah. She continued to feed him for a long time until he was bigger, and then he didn't need her milk anymore. So Moses was raised in the palace and was very well respected, and he was an adopted child of the Pharaoh and his wife, so he had a very high status. Allah granted Moses good health, strength and knowledge, and also wisdom. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, "And when he reached full strength and maturity, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. This is how we reward the good doers." Then one day in the main city, Moses saw two men fighting. One was an Israelite who was being beaten by the other one who was a Coptic. On seeing Moses, the Israelite begged him for help. And Moses tried to help the Israelite and became involved in the fight. And he punched the Coptic, who died on the spot. Moses was shocked, and upon realizing that he had just killed another man, and his heart was filled with so much sorrow, he immediately begged Allah for forgiveness. He didn't mean to kill the man, it was just an accident. And he pleaded with Allah to forgive him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him. And so Moses became very fearful. He was watching out in the city when suddenly the one who sought his help the day before, the Israelite who sought his help the day before, cried out to him again for help. And Moses scolded him, "Indeed, you are clearly a troublemaker." Then, when Moses was about to lay his hands on their enemy again, the enemy said, "Oh Moses, do you intend to kill me as you killed a man yesterday? You only want to be a tyrant in the land. You do not intend to make peace." And then word spread, and the authorities knew about the killing of the Coptic, and they came searching for Moses. There came a man rushing from the farthest end of the city, and he said, "Oh Moses, the chiefs are actually conspiring against you. They want to kill you, so leave the city. I really advise you to leave as quickly as possible." Do you think he left?
No.
He stayed, do you think? Well, Moses, he was afraid now. He was very afraid. So, because the soldiers were trying to kill him, they were going to kill him. Do you think they found him and killed him?
No.
Because he ran away?
No.
Because he left the city?
No, I think because the Pharaoh's wife begged him that don't kill him, leave him alone.
Well, she begged him before, but we'll have to wait until the next episode to see whether they killed him. So thank you for joining me, and until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.